Hello, this is Jill Young, and I'm going to go over my Chrome extension. So the last time I was working on, sorry, I have hiccups. I was working on getting it to making sure that the extension, the categories would come through, and that was a problem. I don't think I had gotten there yet, actually. So I'm just going to show you the functionality of this extension. So, one thing to note, here's my ticker. Shows how long I'm on a site. Once I close this, I'm sorry, let me show you that. These are not on here. Basically what happens is every time I close a tab, it will push it into the database. So I'm going to close this wonderful Target site and see what happens. I'm going to click on this, and there it is, Target shopping. So there's my site, there's my duration, there's the category. This is from Web Shrinker. That's not easy to say for me. I don't know why. Anyway, one thing to note about it is that it doesn't have a category for everything. But it does for many things, or most things, which is great. It imports it like this. I don't know. I didn't get it. I don't really like that. And there's probably a way to change that, but I didn't get that far. Date and time. So, let's close the tab. There's Walgreens. So anyway, I guess that was because that tab was before Target did it. And I opened it up before I opened the Target when it just showed up. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice below. I might sound a little raspy. I'm allergies. I live in the allergy capital of the world, Louisville, Kentucky. Anyway, I'm going to go to my extensions. I want to show you my database. So this is all of the sites that I've stored since I've had this extension unpacked, which obviously would start it over again. Otherwise, it won't start over again. It'll keep adding to it and adding to it. Okay. So here is the time spent. Here's my site, or URL, site, website, whatever, address. And start time right there. So, if I want to know that, I just click into that. I made an index because I needed the website to be a key. So it is a key here, and I'm able to query by key in IndexedDB. So that's how I can query by URL. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to go to my console, and I'm going to see, does that work? No, I didn't want to do that. How did I do that for? Okay. I'm just going here. It's in my paper. Okay, then I'm going to go back to the website. I'm going to pick one. I'm just going to pick Google because I know there's a lot of instances of Google. So I'm going to use that to show you how I can look up the sites. How many times basically all of the times I visited one site, which is 10 here. And then if you scroll down, there's all my instances there. And, that shows me, let's see, can I just expand them? Yeah, I can expand them to get the time in seconds, spent in seconds if I wanted to add all that up. And I can also just look at all the time, date and the time I was on for each one, for each time I was on Google. And I can do that for any site, obviously. So that was my point there. One of my points in one of the functionalities in my proposal is that I wanted to be able to query by site and see how much time I spent on Google overall. If I wanted to do that, I could look that up. I can look at the times and add them up, or I can just see how many times was I on Google in whatever day. on what time. How many times was I on Google at 10 o'clock at night, or I don't know, whatever. I could find that out. Okay, so that's the functionality of my extension. I feel like I should go over my actual code. So, many versions. Many versions. Okay, so and I'm not going to go over, I don't really know what you want in that case, but I'm just kind of showing you what I've done here. I have a reference list in my paper, but I also have tried to incorporate those links just to show you what kind of general areas in the code where I got the information from vaguely. For example, I would have gotten the code, like the variable, the actions or whatever from that site, but not obviously. I would have to customize it for this, which is probably more than obvious, but just the information as far as Chrome extensions, a lot of it was from developerchrome.com. I mean, there's so much from that. This is from, this is the credentials from the API directly from WebShrinker. So, I had to create an account and all that stuff. And, with IndexedDB, that was just so much information, not just on Google, but Mozilla, Firefox, because you can use IndexedDB on that too. And that was, honestly, for me, clearer. I've already said that, but I don't want to repeat myself too much. But, all of us came from one or the other. I mean, pretty much. And I've got some links in there. Tab activities, that was Chrome extension tabs, pretty much. Mozilla again, just all of this, and then this here, there's some w3schools.com, got some information from there. Again, we're going back to browser actions here, push history to database, pushing to database. Mozilla here, the XHR requesting from an API. So I just wanted to go over that, but a lot of it was that. And in between, obviously, I would do something and it would be wrong and I wouldn't understand why, and I would go to Stack Overflow, or I'd go to codeproject.com, or I'd go, sometimes I would just put my problem on a forum and somebody would help me out. There's just so many instances of that, but most of it was just piecing together, trial and error, and asking questions, or not necessarily that, or finding someone who did something similar and trying to figure it out from there. But I did ask questions, if I could find, like forums or whatever, Stack Overflow. There was a few questions I put on there. Of course, I found a lot of answers on there, which there's so much information. Just, I don't know. So anyway, so my pop-up file, there was, getting the calling information from the database. You can see here, this is most of this came from creating tables, JavaScript. And the WebShrink, this is the code to fetch from the WebShrinker API there. So this is just really making the table. Upgrading the database. Pretty much not a whole lot on there. Manifest, that's on the Google extension, how to create that, and that's how that was That one's pretty simple, straightforward. Just a pop-up HTML. This one here is the ticker information, or the ticker function, which is pulled. Actually, I did have a source there. I'm pulled into the background JS file. And then my icons, and that's really it. So in this case, I don't have a database file for you because I'm not using SQL. You just pretty much unpack this extension, go looking for some websites, and the database is created for you by going to the extensions window. Wait a minute, I don't know why I'm doing that. Extensions, this window here, and there's my database. So you'll just create it as you search. That's really it. I don't know what else you might need from me, because I wanted to make sure to go over those sources as well. But if you do, just let me know. And thanks.